Now you've completed all the sections of your blanket, you're going to join them together as you work the 10th colour stripe. So what you need to do for that is work your first row as normal, and that will be work from the front. Turn your work over. Make sure you turn all of your pieces over, otherwise you'll regret it when you get to the end of the row. And then you're just going to work the second row as normal, but slip stitch into the block stitch of the piece that you're joining to. So your first stitch is a chain 3, and then you're going to slip stitch into the chain 1 space on the corner there. So make sure your slip stitches are quite tight. Give it a little bit of a tug and then it will be nice and tight. And then work your 1 treble into every stitch, and as you go you're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 spaces. So it'll be 2 into each chain 2 space. So that's 1. And then just another treble into the main piece and slip stitch into that same chain 2 spaces. So that's 2, and then 2 into each space. As you go along, and then when you get to the end, in the top of the starting chain 3 from the last round, work your treble, and that will get slip stitched into the 1 chain at the end. And that's as simple as it is. That's all you need to do. Once you have joined all of your sections, you can add your border. I've not done a full tutorial on a border because most people sort of tend to do what they like on a border, but you definitely need to do this first round as I've instructed on the pattern, because it finish the edges off nicely and it matches up to this little border that you did on the edge of your strips. So you need to use the main colour 2 yarn for this. Just join it into any corner, and then it's just basically it's exactly what you did on the little edge border there. Just 1 treble, well 2 trebles in the corner, so your chain 3 counts as 1, and then a second treble into the corner space, and then 1 treble into each stitch across your long edge, just exactly as you did for the other little borders. So just work all the way along, and then I'll show you what to do next. When you reach the next corner, you need to work 2 trebles, chain 2 trebles into the corner space, and then you need to work 1 treble into each stitch along the edge of your little square there. So make sure you don't miss this first one here, because you need 11. Once you've completed your 11 trebles along the edge of the little square, you're now going to work down the sides of the rest of the blanket. As I pointed out on the pattern in another video earlier, this edge does tend to stick out beyond the little square. That's because you're going to be working over these edge stitches, so they will disappear into the border, and that will even it up along the edge there for you. So you're going to be working over the end stitch there, which will be encased into the border. So on your little borders here, you need to work 2 trebles into the space between the last 2 stitches of that border, and then in the block stitch you're going to work 1 stitch into this space between the last 2 stitches of the block stitch, and then in the stripes you're going to work 3. I know with most patterns, when there's a double row of trebles like this, it says to work 4, but I always tend to find that's too many and it sort of makes the border flare out, so I work 3. So you're going to work 1 into this large space here, and then there's a little space just here that you work your second one, and then your third one into this next big space. So 1 there, your second one there. I don't know if you can see that little tiny space there. That's your second, and then that's your third, and then 1 into the space between the last 2 stitches of your block stitch row, and then your 3 again. So 1 into the big space. The little space might be a bit tough on this because it's where you carried your colour 1 yarn up. Just might have to give it a little wiggle to get it in there, and then your third one into the next big space, and then 1 into the between the last 2 stitches of your block stitch. So just continue in that manner until you've worked all the way along your blanket, but you can already see that that's flattened that edge out now because those stitches that were sticking out has been used up inside those stitches. When you reach your squares, just do what you did before on the corner one and work your 11 stitches across your square. Again, don't miss that very first one. But you can see that edge is quite, it's pretty straight. If you compare it to my original blanket where I didn't add that extra stitch to the stripes, you can see there's a definite bulge there where it goes over the stripe, and it's definitely eliminated that. Obviously you can get a little bit of a bump, but it's nowhere near as bad as the original blanket. And once you've done some more rounds of trebles or whatever you're going to do for your border, that will smooth it out a lot better than the way I did it on my original blanket. I'm quite lazy with borders, as you can probably tell, so on my original blanket all I did was a second round in the main colour 2 yarn. I just did half trebles because it's getting a bit low on yarn then. Literally after my second row of half trebles, that is all that colour yarn I had left. And then to finish it off, I just did a round of doubles in the gilt, the yellow yarn. Worked from the back, that just gives like a nice sort of edge on it. So that's all I did on mine, but obviously you can do what you like. There's quite a lot of the other colour yarns left over from your circles and stripes, so you could do a really nice big fat border if that's what you like to do. But yeah, been nice to see what you do with your borders. And that's it, that's the end. Thank you very much.